The following is a presentation of TFNN. Now, TFNN opens the door to the future. Larry Pesavento, systems analyst, is your tour guide into the market futures. Want to see into the future? Well, climb aboard Larry's time machine and come with us. Larry takes your phone calls now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. This is the Futures Hour. Here's your host, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, good afternoon, folks. This is the Futures Hours for TFNN. I'm Larry Pesavento. If you have any questions, you can call in at 877-927-6648. And get a little business out of the way here. On Wednesday of this coming week, I believe, which is August the 3rd, we are going to have Mr. Arch Crawford from Crawford Perspectives, the esteemed financial astrologer, is going to be on to answer your questions. And hopefully you'll have some questions for him. Today we're going to have a special guest because this is the commodity show. I always like to rely on someone who knows a lot more about the commodities than I do, because he's in the cash business, the growing business, and the brokerage business, the hedge fund business, and that is Rich Anderson from Anderson Capital Management. Rich has been my friend for just about 40 years, and he's going to come on a little bit after the hour and answer some questions for you. We can discuss some of these grains. One of the main topics that I wanted to talk about is market action, and I'm going to try to weave it into one of the questions that we got from last week, and that is the cotton market. You know, why the cotton market moves, so violently. And I've posted the cotton market over the last year or so in the den, and as you can see, it's had a 400% move to the upside. It went from around 80 cents a pound all the way up to $220 a pound, and now we're setting at about $100 a pound. So it's had a better than 70%, actually a 80% retracement of the move, and that's how these things occur. And the question that the person asked me, well, how do I get short up there at that $220 area? Well, first of all, what happens when prices get that high, they increase the margins dramatically. And the reason why that occurs is open interest starts to contract because people start to get out of the market, and that means there's less players. So the amount of risk exposure that you have up at that level is very, very high, and that's why the opportunity is so great, but the risk is incredibly great at that time. So the only way you can probably try to do it is wait till the top is made and try to sell a few retracements that come back towards the top, using that type of a strategy, a little Gartley pattern, and you might be able to do it. But it's very difficult to trade markets that are vertical like that. You can remember what happened to silver during the third week in April, when it shot up over 30% in value, and then in the next 6 or 7 days it dropped almost 30% in value. So that's really really what we're looking at when we have that type of situation. I have not trade cotton for myself or anyone else. A hedge fund that I work with does not trade cotton, and that's just a preference, because it's just one of the things. We don't trade coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. But these are things you don't need when you have so many other things to trade. These are relatively insignificant as far as trading. You can make a lot of money when you're right, but this is something that we just don't decide to do. What we're going to do today, when we have Rich on the program, is to talk more about where we are in the grain markets, because the cotton market is by far the largest crop that we have in the United States, and it's regarded with ethanol. And I'll give you a little background of Rich. I met him, oh my gosh, I think it has to be pretty close to 40 years ago. We were in a squawk box. He was in Minneapolis and I was in California, and I was answering questions. I was just a customer of the firm, and I was answering questions about Fibonacci numbers, and Rich got interested. He was just a kid. I think he couldn't have been more than about 19 or 20. And he called up, and from that we became incredibly good friends, and our families became friends. So he knows the business. He is a rancher, a farmer, a trader, a hedge fund manager. He's been in the business forever, and he really does know the business and the people in the business. I don't know if Rich is ready or not. Are you there, Rich?
I'm here,
good.
Larry.
Good. Okay, the main question that I'm having for myself today, Rich, is, we've had this, horrible weather through the Midwest and the East with this tremendous heat. And I think Minneapolis, you had a a heat index day of 126 one day, I believe. Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah, that was a record. That was a record. And that was a tough day, let me tell you.
What about, because I know you don't even have air conditioning in that little trailer you live in. Hey, listen, the question that I have for you is how is it affecting the crops and the supply and demand situation as you see it?
Well, first of all, before the crops, it affected the animals, the cattle and the hogs. And when you have a heat index that high, basically if you have 90-degree temperature plus your humidity is over 160 and you don't have any breeze, less than 5-mile-an-hour wind, your animals get stressed, and they don't gain any weight, and they just, they start falling over dead. So I had friends, heck, we had cattle in South Dakota. We lost 5 head in one pen, and so we just turned them out into the water. A lot of feedlots have sprinklers, but the animals just stand still. They don't gain any weight, and so and even in the hog barns, which are environmentally controlled and they have sprinkler systems, they were losing sows, they were losing hogs, and then transporting them to the packers, in the trucks, that made it tough. So that really hurt the livestock. But it was interesting how the markets did nothing, particularly the hogs. They sat for 2 days just going sideways, and they tried to sell off when they should have been going straight up. Of course, now they're going, the August hogs have been going up. But in the wheat, corn, and beans, it didn't affect the wheat as much as it did the corn and the beans. But that heat, and then the low temperature at night has been so hot that it doesn't give the corn and the bean plant a chance to regenerate. And so you won't see that, though, until maybe late September, October is when the fundamentalists will really start to grab on to the effect that that's had on the plants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're seeing it down day to day, but they don't care about it right now. It'll be a factor in October, November.
So this is probably the reason why the corn has gone up to the 786 level and really hasn't backed off at all. It's just stayed there for, it's been almost 2 weeks now where corn has just been hanging at that 786 level, which is telling you that it certainly does want to break out to go to the upside, it looks like.
Right, but the corn is being, for the moment at least, the corn is tied to the price of wheat, because the price of wheat versus the price of corn is so narrow right now because people are starting to feed wheat instead of corn. If you're in Texas where they've had a major drought, you have to pay way over the price of the futures market to get to the actual corn. And so it's actually the wheat that's slowing down the corn price. And then you've got Russia, Ukraine, even Egypt starting to export some wheat. So it's a trade-off.
So it looks like it's going to be a worldwide situation again, much like we've had in other years, where the bad weather just messes things up for at least one or possibly 2 growing seasons.
Well, absolutely.
Well, if you had to buy something to, you wanted to put some money at work in the commodity market, we looked at the corn, thanks to you, but when it had that big drop back into July, you were on the program that day, and corn was down 70 cents, and it was right down at the 786 level, and this was the area where we were certainly wanting to look to take advantage of it. It hit that level, and it's had a pretty good bounce. But if you had to make a strategy now for the folks after we've gone through roughly 3 weeks of this, what would you suggest they do at this particular time? Wait for a pullback, or
I would wait for a major pullback, and the market that I'm looking at first is the Minneapolis wheat, which is hard red spring wheat. It's a high protein wheat, and it's grown only in the upper, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, and into Canada, and all that was planted late. I think that's where the opportunity will be. So you get the Fibonacci retracements. I would take a look at the Minneapolis wheat. It's not a heavily traded contract. There isn't even a floor anymore. But that's what I'd be watching for. And back in June, when I was in Chicago and talked to you, I told you that China would start buying pork because it was cheaper for them to buy the pork than to import they're still importing corn, but it's cheaper for them to buy the pork than to import the corn. And of course, the pork prices have gone up a bunch.
Well, why is it that some of these things they they seem like they should be going farther and farther on the upside than they do. I like to watch how news reacts to these things, and when you see the incredible temperatures of 126 degrees, I mean, I would have thought that corn would have been up the limit several days in a row. Given that there must have been some moisture along with that to keep them growing, I guess.
Right. There was thunderstorms, and the rain kept it. It's kept the market tamped down, and you'll have some private forecasters estimating the corn crop that'll come out next week, and then the government will come out the following week. But you'll probably see maybe a 5 to 6 bushel an acre reduction in the corn crop between the August report and the final report in November and January. And so that November and January is when the realization that, the crop did get hurt, and we only have this much corn. That's when that'll occur. And right now, they're not thinking about that.
I see. Rich, we've got a caller here from Connecticut. Lou in Connecticut is asking us about some moon cycles. Are you there, Lou?
Yes, I am, Larry. I don't know how you got it done, but Tom used to blow Arch Crawford off all the time, and with the moon stuff. But all of a sudden now, you're his hero. So anyway, Arch said, I'm telling you, he had him on the program a lot, and then all of a sudden he just started blowing him off. But that's okay. But the last time you were talking with Arch on the program, he said 8/17 for a turn date or a down date or a high date. And yes, I know he's your next-door neighbor.
We had lunch yesterday. We had about a 3-hour lunch yesterday, and we talked about a lot of things. But August the 17th is Combus. That's where Mercury is conjunct the Sun. And it's going to be a very interesting time. And I believe because we have, I'm not sure, it's very, very close to the full moon, I believe, at that time. I'm not sure the exact date of that full moon, but it's got to be very close to that. So August 17th should be a very strong date. That's a Bradley date. That comes out of the Donald Bradley material that that hangs in there all the time. But that's a very important date. August 17th of 2007 was the big date that made the market go, bonkers to the upside. We were down 500 points that day. It was the only other time that Skype was out of business, and the market was down 500 points, ended up being down about 80 points. And then from there we made new highs into October, and then in October of 07 is when we started the big down crash. So this August 17th will be a good thing to watch in a few weeks.
And what are you thinking?
Well, if I told you that, Lou, I'd have to kill you. Well, what I think is going to happen is we're going to come down into this the one we have on the 2nd, which is August the 2nd. I think we're going to come down into that,
right?
And then we're having a little break here. 877-927-6648. Rich, stick with me, and also Lou, stick with me, and we'll be back right after this message.
X-Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex-listed company trading under the symbol XG, is slated to be the newest gold-silver producer in Argentina. X-Story is forecast to produce more than $250 million in bullion annually, beginning in 2013, at a cash cost of less than $200 for each ounce of gold produced. That forecast will make X-Story one of the highest margin operators in South America and a sector leader in the mining industry. X-Story has $50 million in its treasury, having spent over $60 million to date on drilling and engineering. The ultimate size of its Argentina discovery could be determined by year-end, as results from the 6 drills operating at the site are fully assessed. To find out more about X-Story Gold Mines and their exciting growth potential, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex under the symbol XG.
Purchase Tiger Dollars during the month of July, and you will be automatically registered to attend Tom O'Brien's one-day live webinar, 5 primary core techniques to become a master trader at no additional charge. Your purchase of Tiger Dollars is the only way to gain access to this exclusive webinar. The one-day webinar will be held Monday, August 8th from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. The course will also be archived on your members page for you to view at your convenience. Go to the front page of TFNN.com under Breaking News and order your Tiger Dollars now.
Direction Shares Leverage ETFs fuse the benefits of exchange-traded funds with the innovation you expect from Direction, providing investors with opportunities to magnify their short-term perspective, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. Direction Shares, ETFs to the power of X. To learn more about Direction Shares, click on the Direction banner on the front page of TFNN.com or call 866-476-7523. There is no guarantee that the funds will achieve their objective. The ETFs are not suitable for all investors and should be utilized only by sophisticated investors who understand short-term trading, leverage risk, consequences of seeking daily leverage investment results, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. An investor should consider the investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus contains this and other information and can be obtained at directionshares.com. Please read the prospectus carefully before investing. Distributed by Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Looking for some extra cash to help pay off some of your bills? Let Tiger Metal Exchange convert your unwanted jewelry to cash. We pay out 80% of the market price for gold. Our payouts are the highest in the industry, more than double our largest competitors. And we've created the safest, easiest, and most straightforward process for converting your jewelry to cash. Log on to TigerMetalExchange.com and get your free scale, your free eye loop, and get the cash you deserve now. We provide a free online calculator that converts your jewelry to cash at up-to-the-minute spot prices. We insure your items for up to $75,000 per shipment free of charge. We videotape the entire valuation process so that you can view it online. You can call us toll-free at 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. Let Tiger Metal Exchange put more cash in your pocket without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Join the list of thousands of satisfied customers and go to TigerMetalExchange.com. It's the only click you need to make.
TFNN introduces Tiger TV. Tiger TV brings you video content to help you succeed in the financial markets and beyond. Investors and traders can get in-depth information, news, commentary, and education for investing and trading equities, options, commodities, Forex, futures, and more. Just go to TFNN.com and click Tiger TV and select your favorite channel from the carousel on the left. Grab a popcorn and get ready for Tiger TV, a great new service from TFNN.com.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. My new book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, is for sale at Amazon.com for only $18.40.
Now, back to the Futures Hour.
Okay, we're back with our famous guest, Rich Anderson of Anderson Capital Management, 877-927-6648. And if you want to call in, and right now we have Lou in Connecticut. Are you still there, Lou?
I'm here, Larry. I want to say, Rich, I feel bad for all the animals that they're losing out there with that heat they're going on. They're just dropping in the fields. I feel real bad for them people.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. You know, each animal's maybe $1,200 or more. I mean,
I heard they lost thousands and thousands.
Yes, they did.
You know,
go ahead. That means our meat prices are going higher, I guess, right, Rich?
Well, yeah, they're going higher. I'll give you a perfect example. If you look at cheddar cheese, which is not traded on the futures exchange because of the demand from Asia, it's up like 40% this year.
Wow. Well, the Asians can afford it. We can't.
Well, they're middle because their middle class is growing so fast, and that's what's doing it.
Wow. They're getting a discount on our dollar, though. The whole United States is on sale.
That's the only way we can pay off our debt.
Yeah. In fact,
they better stop kicking China, too, because without China working for $1.38 a month, $138 a month, we'd have astronomical inflation in the United States.
Well, let me tell you something, Lou. My wife is Chinese, and I wish I could make $138 a month from her, but that's not working, so I'm still having to keep my day job. Listen, Lou, we got another caller coming in from Tampa, and he's going to have
up with the Arch thing?
Yes, well, Arch is going to come on Wednesday, and he'll talk about the lunar cycles. But what we want to watch is, I'll be on the show on Monday, and we're going to have a pretty good idea where we think the bottom in this market's going to be, because it should bottom on the 2nd of August if it's following the same pattern that it's been following. And we'll have a pretty good idea of what we think the market's doing at that time. But we should be making a bottom around August the 2nd. I know that's the time that the debt stuff comes out, but whether that means anything or not, I'm not even sure.
Okay, so maybe we're doing the C leg of an ABC down?
I believe we're on the C leg. That's correct.
Okay.
All right, thanks for calling in. Okay, Tom in Tampa, are you there?
Yeah, hey, how you doing, Larry?
Good. What can I do for you?
Yeah, by the way, I've never heard Tom blow Arch Crawford off. I've been listening to Tom for a long time, and I've never heard that. That's the first I've heard on that. So
I never heard Tom do anything wrong to anybody, but that's just my own personal opinion. But
yes,
it could have been might have been a commercial or something where you had to get
bottom. You pretty much answered it just then with that on the second. I'm just concerned when this deal goes down and when they vote on it, we're going to see a pretty good upside maybe that day in the market. Do you have any idea when they're going to vote on this thing? You think it's late Sunday night? What are you thinking here on this thing, Larry? The deadline's
probably the last person.
The House is voting on the Bonner bill today, but then it has to go to the Senate, and they'll turn that one down, and then the Senate will vote on the Reid package, and then eventually they'll come together and compromise and come up with a reconciliation bill that can pass both houses.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of having Rich as a friend. He's very well read, and he's into politics and other things because he has a lot of land, and he knows the senators and stuff from that area and other areas because he also is down in Florida. And I think my personal opinion is I think they're going to pull a TARP deal where they're going to run the market really down and tell everybody, well, this is going to be the end of the world unless we get this bill taken care of, and they'll get it passed just like the TARP thing was, and then it'll look good for 2 or 3 weeks or a month, and then it'll go back to the next problem.
Because the key point is it's not the debt limit, it's how much money we're spending. And the Chinese have told us, and the rating agencies have told you, that if you don't have some structural reforms to change your spending, we're going to have to adjust your debt.
Mm-hmm. So when do they have to have this done? Does it got to be done by midnight on the 2nd or midnight on the 1st?
The dates that the administration has been using as it's got to be by this date, they don't have a lot of meaning. They're just trying to create urgency. If it goes past, say, the 14th or 15th of August, then you've got some major problems.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on the sidelines right now, Larry, until this thing gets settled. I really don't know what to say about yesterday's downturn. I think it had a lot to do with the dollar taking a strong, rally, don't you?
Well, the dollar held right at the 786 retracement. We've been talking about that for several days. As long as it held that 73.50 level, it wasn't in any trouble. And so you're right. That could certainly be it. We've got a little break coming here, so if you'll stay with us, I had one other question that I wanted to ask Rich about the debt limit, and it's call us in 877-927-6648.
Yeah, I'll hang on, Larry.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, has recently been capitalizing on a trader's market, which is why now is the perfect time to get your 2-week free trial to take advantage of the volatility and swings that provide opportunities that traders dream of. With trade setups in equities and options, you can see how Tom O'Brien uses his years of market knowledge to take advantage when trades are presented with price projections and trading stops on each recommendation. Log on to TFNN.com today and click on the newsletter tab to get your 2-week free trial. And don't forget, if you purchase any amount of Tiger Dollars this month only, you'll gain access to an exclusive live full-day webinar Monday, August 8th with Tom O'Brien. Tiger Dollars never expire and can be used for any of our products. You cannot sign up for this exclusive webinar. The only way to gain access is by purchasing Tiger Dollars this month only. Act today by visiting TFNN.com.
–
Win free silver all summer long during our Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway.
So let's go to our man, Dan from Reading, Massachusetts. Dan, are you on the line?
I am. I got a call that I won that Great Panther getaway.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Hey. That's great. That's great. Did you believe you were going to be a winner?
I doubted it. I don't usually win, but pleased to win.
Starting Tuesday, June 21st through Labor Day, TFNN will hold a drawing once a day, 5 days a week, business days only. One lucky entrant will receive one of these beautiful coins.
Today's winner is Len Winograd from Hollandale, Florida. How are you today, Len?
Never better. I feel so good. I should be twins.
Congratulations. Beautiful silver coin. How long have you been listening to TFNN, Len?
I listen every day for the last 4 years.
Winning one of these extraordinary coins could not be easier. There's no contest and no gimmicks. Go to the front page of TFNN.com for more information. Win free silver all summer long during our Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway.
Great Basin Gold is a mining company engaged in the exploration and development of 2 emerging gold properties in Nevada and South Africa with a total resource base of more than 23 million gold ounces. Great Basin's Burnstone mine in South Africa opened in February of this year with a resource of 20 million gold ounces, becoming the first mine to open in the historic Witwatersrand Rand Basin in the last 30 years. The Burnstone mine is projected to have a 25-year mine life and is fully financed with production anticipated to be over 250,000 ounces per year at a cash cost of only $450 per ounce. The Hollister mine in Nevada became fully integrated in the 4th quarter of 2010 with annual production estimates of 110,000 ounces of gold per year over the 8-year mine life at a cash cost of only $527 per ounce. Great Basin Gold is cash flow positive and trades on the Toronto and New York stock exchanges under the symbol GBG.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower your volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angelo O'Brien, financial advisor and certified financial planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Purchase Tiger Dollars in the month of July. Order Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. And receive access to Tom O'Brien's exclusive one-day live webinar. 5 primary core techniques to become a master trader. Now, back to the Futures Hour.
Okay, we're back. 877-927-6648. I have a question from my friend Rich Anderson. Rich, tell me, is the debt limit going to mean anything over the next 3 or 4 years?
Other than as a tool for each side to negotiate how many spending cuts we're going to have versus revenue increases, tax increases, no.
Do you think this is going to be the event that's going to actually try to turn our country around where we don't give so many things away to people that don't belong here?
Well, that's the only lever that the conservatives have to try and slow down spending. And this, you know, the obligations, the unfunded obligations that each and every man, woman, and child have is over $350,000. And while you could write that check no problem, there's an awful lot of people in this country that couldn't. And so it's just like in Greece and in Italy and in Ireland, you know, you come to the point where you realize you can't spend that much money.
Yes.
And so they're trying to use the debt negotiations to start slowing down the spending. But we're going to have to slow down the spending a bunch.
Well, I always thought that they were going to use it as a political event, just like they did with the TARP program, you know, scare everybody to get the thing passed and, you know, basically have another giveaway program. Let's get back to something really important here. Rich, let's get back to the corn and the ethanol, because if these oil prices are still hovering near $98 to $100 a barrel, and if we start getting above 104, we could be easily looking at $140, $150 oil again. So, what is the corn consumption as far as the ethanol is going?
Well, it's about 5 billion bushels of corn.
That's a lot of corn.
That's an awful lot of corn. That's an awful lot of corn, and that number's constant. That number won't go down because it's it's subsidized. But what you have is a blend wall, and because we're only using 10% as the blend, 10% ethanol to blend into gasoline, demand stays constant for that 10% for blending. But any ethanol they produce above that, the demand is minimal because there's less energy in ethanol than there is in gasoline. It's only good. It's about 85% of the. If you were just doing mileage, it's about 85%. So therefore, it shouldn't trade at the price of gasoline. But if if Congress changes the mandate from E10 to E15, and the only reason they haven't mandated that yet is because most of the cars on the road today wouldn't work efficiently with E15, then that demand's going to go up another 25 to 50%.
Well, that increases
the 5 years down the road. That's going to happen. So that's why land prices are so high.
When we don't use a lot of, we eat a lot more beef than we do pork. So what do you think is going to be the status of the cattle market? Are we going to be looking at $130, $140 cattle pretty soon?
I think so. But they always say a gentleman doesn't trade cattle in July. You wait till
why do they say that?
August, to the middle of August. That's when the demand starts to change. When the kids go back to school, then the beef demand kind of picks up. Right now, it's kind of pork season.
The way I always felt on the floor of the exchange, the gentleman that trades any times he thinks he can make $1.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Is the cattle are they as vulnerable to this heat as the hogs are?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. We had to move all of our cattle into some water, into a slough, to keep them from dropping over, because basically they run out of oxygen. They're so hot.
Wow.
It's just a sad thing to see.
Okay. Hey, Rich, thanks for joining us this week, and maybe we'll have you on in a couple more weeks, okay?
All right. You have a good
Thanks
day.
a lot, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, and have a nice trip to Florida. Bye-bye. 877-927-6648.
Launched in April, Ken Shreve's newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, has had an overwhelming response, and his outstanding results have not disappointed. Using his unique method of combining a fundamental review of sales and earnings with technical charting for entry and exits, Ken is posting multiple double-digit percentage gains. This month only, you can lock in the low introductory rate of $395 per year. Log on to TFNN.com today to gain instant access to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks newsletter.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
At
Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650. I should get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
And very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
Purchase Tiger Dollars during the month of July, and you will be automatically registered to attend Tom O'Brien's one-day live webinar. 5 primary core techniques to become a master trader at no additional charge. Your purchase of Tiger Dollars is the only way to gain access to this exclusive webinar. The one-day webinar will be held Monday, August 8th from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. The course will also be archived on your members page for you to view at your convenience. Go to the front page of TFNN.com under Breaking News and order your Tiger Dollars now.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. My new book, The Art of Time in the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, is for sale at Amazon.com for only $18.40.
Now, back to the Futures Hour.
Okay, folks, we're back. 877-9277-6648. This is Larry Pesavento. We have our friend Mike Saiwati from Thailand. Are you there, Mike?
Wow, that was quick. I'm here. How are you, Larry?
You've got 5 minutes, my friend.
I should stop saying how are you, since we're regular. I'm a regular calling. So anyway,
Tom, let me say, Mike, this is the only day that you're allowed to ask how I am. This is the only day of the year.
For now,
you know why?
From now on,
today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
all
70
right.
years old. Can you believe that? I've been doing this for 51 years.
I can believe it, and I can believe it, and it's been a pleasure listening to you.
Okay, now you have 5 minutes, Mike. So get your 5 minutes out on the board, buddy, because
you're not going to give me a whole 5 minutes.
Yes, I am. You're getting 5 minutes from the time you start talking. I guarantee it.
Okay, I'm going to watch this right now. I'm going to write that down.
Okay, you're under the clock. Go ahead.
Okay, Mercury. Larry, I saw something about Fibonacci. I was doing some studies on Fibonacci in nature, how they occur in nature, and they talked about planetary rotations, and they talked about Mercury. Now, you said something about, I'll narrow that down further in another conversation, but you said something about August 17th coming up on something to do with Mercury. Can you fill me in on, and now you're talking to a real neophyte here, a real, so...
All right,
really
let me
understand this Mercury thing.
Okay, you just hold on and I'll answer it. Now we've stopped your 5 minutes just momentarily, so listen to me for just a couple of minutes and I'll try to explain.
That was only 1 minute.
Well, I know, minute and a half. What we have is we've got a situation on August 17th where Mercury, which is our fastest moving planet, it goes around every 88 days, is coming in conjunction with Venus, which goes around every 255 days, I believe. And so when you have that relationship and they line up at 0 degrees, in other words, when they hit the same spot where they're getting ready to start, just like at the starting point of a race, that's called combust. That was a word that was coined by an Indian astrologer way back in the 30s, T.G. Butani. And what it is, it's like, because of the action of it, it's like a super full moon, but because it's not a satellite, it's actual planets, it has more power. And we get about 4 to 6 of these every year. And if you go back and look in the history of the stock market, how often combust hits on days when we have really big market moves, you have to pay attention of it. It's closer to 90%, and it's within 1 day. It's either the day before, the day of, or the day after.
This is called combust? This is
combust, C-O-M-B-U-S-T. Yes, combust.
Okay, now if I'm not mistaken, if you take the center of the sun, okay, they're going to line up with Mercury and Venus. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And that's going to happen on August
17th. Yes.
And is it going to line up with the Earth as well?
Mike, it better, or we'll be in big trouble.
It is.
Yeah.
It is going to line up.
Yeah, sure. Well, from the Earth, that's what we see it as, but it's going to be lined up as a bowling pins. You're looking at bowling pins. The first bowling pin far out is Venus, and then there's the bowling pin closest will be Mercury, and then one way far out will be the Sun, and then the one closest will be the Earth.
Okay. Now, how often does this happen, Larry, when they all line up?
Usually, it happens usually 4 to 6 times a year. It varies, but sometimes more, sometimes less, but around 4 to 6 times each year.
It happens that many times where all 3 of these planets line up.
Yes. Okay, let me give you a little bit of history, Mike. You remember back in 0 BC, there were 3 guys. They were called the 3 wise men. And they were looking for the bright star. Well, the bright star that they were looking at was a triple conjunction. In other words, all 3 of these planets lined up at 0 degrees. In other words, you had Mercury first, and right behind Mercury you had Venus, and right behind Venus you had Mars, and they were lined up just like in a ball pin. And because they were moving relatively slowly at that time, it stayed there for quite a while, and that made like a very, very bright star. Instead of looking like at 3 stars, it looked like there was one big bright star out there, and that's where the wise men were headed towards, Israel or Jerusalem to see the baby. And of course, that was the tax time, so Christ was born actually in October. He was not born on December 25th.
Right, I know that about that. Now, I'll bet you've read. Have you ever heard of David Icke?
Yes, I have, but Mike, I have some really bad news. I have some bad news for you, Mike. Your 5 minutes are up.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. I got my stopwatch here. All right, I'll give you. I'm going to give you another 2. I'm going to give you another 2 minutes because I love you. So go ahead.
No, you said 11:43. It's 11:47. So that's 4. That's only 4 minutes. All right. So just 1 more minute. Now, what a lot of people say about the 3 wise men, and this story goes back in many parables and many different religions, is that was Orion's belt. Do you see? That was not those 3 planets. That's Orion's belt.
Okay, that's one opinion, and
many people say that. Many people say that.
Okay. Well, listen,
but
Mike,
anyway,
thanks for calling in today.
Thank you, Larry.
All right, my friend. You bet. Well, we'll be watching that August 17th date for sure because we've got about 3 weeks before it happens, so we certainly want to have a eye on it. I'll be out of the country then. I'll be in Kuala Lumpur for a couple of speeches. I'm doing a live trading gig for some technical people there where I'm doing a whole day of live trading. And so I will be watching it, very, very closely. Combust happens to be one of my favorite things that we look at for timing because it is one really accurate thing. It's really powerful. When you see another book come out in the future, you'll probably see him, focus on Combust and show you all the statistics behind it. But it really does. We want to get to Danny in Atlanta, and are you there, Danny?
Hi, Larry.
How are you today? Oops, Danny, guess what? You made it just in time for the commercial. Will you hold with me until we get the commercial out of the way? Tom's got to pay some bills here, and so do I. So we'll be back with you just about 1 minute, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Danny.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, has recently been capitalizing on a trader's market, which is why now is the perfect time to get your 2-week free trial to take advantage of the volatility and swings that provide opportunities that traders dream of. With trade setups in equities and options, you can see how Tom O'Brien uses his years of market knowledge to take advantage when trades are presented with price projections and trading stops on each recommendation. Log on to TFNN.com today and click on the newsletter tab to get your 2-week free trial. And don't forget, if you purchase any amount of Tiger Dollars this month only, you'll gain access to an exclusive live full-day webinar Monday, August 8th with Tom O'Brien. Tiger Dollars never expire and can be used for any of our products. You cannot sign up for this exclusive webinar. The only way to gain access is by purchasing Tiger Dollars this month only. Act today by visiting TFNN.com.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio. Therefore, we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
You've heard Bud Rolfs give his expert technical analysis of the stock market on the radio. Now you can have his superior trading advice and his best stock picks delivered right to your desktop every week with his newsletter, The Torch. Using his own trademarked Warpath trading system, Bud will help you to increase your odds of making and saving money in the markets with powerful stock selection, stock analysis, and trading plan strategies. Published every Monday morning, each issue of The Torch features full-color charts in an easy-to-follow format. You will also receive not only the big picture of what's going on in the major markets and critical sectors, but also featured stock picks with complete trading plans and technical setups, as well as the Subscribers Corner, where Bud analyzes stocks submitted by subscribers. Visit TFNN.com today and receive your 2-week free trial of The Torch. That's a $75 value. Sign up now and make sure you receive all the great market analysis and winning trade ideas in every action-packed issue of The Torch from Bud Rolfs.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Now, back to the Futures Hour.
Okay, we're back, and I made a tactical error here, folks. I really don't have birthdays anymore, and please don't send me any electronic cards. I hate those things. I'm not very computer literate, and they cause me lots of problems. So, anyway, Danny, are you still there?
I'm still here. 70's the new 40, Larry.
Yeah, well, I still feel 40. I still like young girls, Danny. I just don't remember why. Let me ask you a question. What would you like to know about cattle?
Well, with the cattle dying, we should get a large spike down, shouldn't we, in the price? And have you looked at it? Where would you be interested in buying? I've never traded cattle.
Well, cattle are very tradable. They're one of the better meats to trade. We don't trade pork bellies at all anymore, but the hogs and cattle and feeder cattle are still tradable. But these have been very, very strong. the only thing that can happen is if the weather gets really hot and the herds will actually, they'll thin out their herds to keep them from dying. They'll just take them to slaughter. That could push the prices down, but that just means that they're just going to go up higher because they'll have less for breeding the next time. This is what Rich was trying to explain to us, that this hot weather and combination of the other things that are happening with the price of grains going up, but we're looking at much higher food prices in all of these things. I mean, if you look at rice, what rice has done, it's gone up 30-40% in just the last several months. So we're looking at higher prices on all these things, and it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just the United States, because rice is used everywhere. We don't use a lot of rice here in the United States, but they certainly do in all the other countries of Asia. China, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, all those places, rice is the staple. India, I mean, all those places where all the billions of people are, rice is what they eat.
Okay.
So, and then if there's ever any, someone on the den just mentioned if there's anything that is related to the fallout of this radiation thing, because, Japan produces a large quantity of rice, this could really be, something really bad, down the road. That's what we have to keep an eye on it. But this is why we've been wanting to, get long these grains, and they gave us one good chance on July 1st. Hopefully they'll give us another chance in another week or two, but it looks to me like they do want to go higher.
Could you cover the grains and the meats in the newsletter if you get a chance?
Yes, I can do that. I usually don't do that because I don't think many people have an interest in it, but I certainly, I look at the charts for those each week because at the hedge fund, we do trade those, and we want to, keep an eye on them. But I certainly will, do that. I'll do the major ones. I'll do cattle and hogs and corn, wheat and beans, and I still think wheat is the closest to a buy because it hasn't really, rallied very much. It's only rallied about $5,000 a bushel. And there's one other thing that I think is going to be the trade of the year or the trade of the decade possibly, and that is the TBT. I know it's a commodity, but it's an ETF, based on a commodity, and I think that if we can get the TBT to stay around this 32 level just a little bit longer, and once this debt crisis is over, I think you're going to start to see interest rates go higher, and that means that the TBT is going to go a lot higher. Remember, bonds at one time were 56 when interest rates were, 15, 16% way back in 1980. And I think we could easily go to 8% in bonds now in order to, get the thing corrected the way we need it. And it's not going to help the housing market either because it's incredibly difficult, to get mortgages anymore. Even, for young people that are making a very good living, it's still difficult to get mortgages. My son, Sarah's son in Hong Kong had just bought a place there, and he makes an incredible amount of money for a hedge fund, and he still had a hard time, getting a mortgage without putting up a substantial down payment. So, folks, this is the end of the week, and this is my last day. And again, please don't send me any accolades. Give some money to the poor people today. That would make me very, very happy. And thanks a lot for tuning in today.
Great Basin Gold is a mining company engaged in the exploration and development of two emerging gold properties in Nevada and South Africa with a total resource base of more than 23 million gold ounces. Great Basin's Burnstone mine in South Africa opened in February of this year